here's Brody Brazil.
This video is a follow-up to one that I made yesterday, and kind of an interesting and unique situation in Winnipeg where the Jets flat out admitted that they're having trouble selling tickets and they're not doing so well as a business. This was the headline from The Athletic. Winnipeg Jets ownership sounds the alarm on attendance not going to work over the long haul, which sounds scary and frightening, especially for a community like Winnipeg, which has already lost the Jets once. Well, how about I do this? You don't like that headline? Let's replace it with something like this. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman on Winnipeg Jets' future, quote, "I believe this is a strong market." That's because the commissioner visited Winnipeg himself yesterday. I'll have his comments for you in just a second. But first, let's revisit the backstory and the details here. Again, very unprecedented for the Jets themselves to offer up all this information publicly. Winnipeg has the NHL's smallest permanent arena. We're excluding the Arizona Coyotes and Mullet Arena, that temporary situation for right now. But they knew that when the Jets returned, 15,525 was not the biggest barn on the circuit. The Jets, though, right now are only drawing 87.4% of capacity, which is third lowest across the NHL. Their average crowd of 13,306 is the lowest in the league, minus the Coyotes situation. They sell out 4,600 every game. But all of that established, this is during a time where the Jets on the ice are thriving. They're the third best team in the Western standings as I prepared the initial comments on this. So good on the ice, struggling to sell tickets. They've been around for more than a decade in their second iteration of Winnipeg. So why is all this happening? And the recent fall off, I think, is what was most concerning. Again, all of this revisiting what the Jets put out themselves. They said that their season ticket base dropped 27% across the last 3 years. They went from about 13,000 season tickets to 9,000, 9,500 season ticket seats sold this year. That's according to them. Their chairman, Mark Chipman, said this, quote, "I wouldn't be honest with you if I didn't say we've got to get back to 13,000. This place we find ourselves in right now, it's not going to work over the long haul. It just isn't." That's the concern. That's the scary part. That's not a threat, but that's the honesty that I think sounds off the alarm for a lot of Winnipeg Jets fans. Enter in NHL's Commissioner Gary Bettman. He made that trip to Manitoba yesterday. Here is some of what he said. Quote, "I think there was a lot of speculation as to why I was here today. This is a place where hockey matters. I believe that this is a strong NHL market." He also went on to say, "I believe that ownership has made extraordinary commitments to the Jets, to this arena, to the downtown area, involving hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm not sure why people are speculating that somehow the NHL is not going to be here." Wait a second, didn't the chairman just say this is not sustainable over the long term? This is not going to work? That's why people are speculating your presence and your attendance to show up on a random, was it a Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday evening in Winnipeg. But I continue, as the commissioner continued, obviously the attendance needs to improve. I have a confidence in the organization, and more importantly, I have confidence in this community. There's a lot to unpack there. I have a confidence in this community. So let's get to our takeaways here. First off, in this day and age of sports and teams and threats and public money and subsidies and relocation, I actually appreciate the fact that Gary Bettman and his right-hand man, Bill Daly, they made the trip to Winnipeg to answer questions straight from the media. Too often in pro sports, the commissioner or other executives put out statements and comments, and it's so brief and sometimes you can take it 5 different ways. He showed up. So of all the criticisms you want to throw Gary Bettman's way, the fact that he actually made the visit and gave support to the fans and the team, I think is a lot of credit. He settled things down for the immediate future. No question about that. Now, I also want to say, in publishing the video that I did yesterday, I sifted through some of the comments, and this is the great thing about YouTube and the internet and technology and the modern age we live in, I heard from so many people who are actual Jets fans in Winnipeg. And one of their biggest reasonings of season ticket issues and ticket sales in general for the Jets is that the economy and cost and inflation are all taking a toll across Canada, but especially in Manitoba and especially in Winnipeg. And if the finances just aren't there for the typical Jets fan and the prices haven't come down or reflected that, then they're just not going to sell as many tickets. It doesn't sound like there is a mistake of passion for this team. Like there's no less of it right now. It's just that the finances, the numbers aren't working. And we also know that the Jets heavily rely on families and individuals to buy season tickets as opposed to a lot of markets around the NHL, which rely on corporations to take care of those season ticket purchases. So again, money, cost, inflation, the exchange rate from the U.S. to the Canadian dollar, all of that taking a toll in terms of why this isn't working out. I also heard that season ticket holders who bought everything in advance were not also cashing in on the benefits and sales that the team was doing or offers that the team was doing for ticket promotions. Like, hey, if you buy, I think it was a ticket, a toque, and a beer or something like that, and you get all these freebies with the tickets and even maybe a lower cost than what season ticket holders already committed to. Hence why people were dropping out and saying, why is it worth it to be a season ticket holder? So again, maybe there are just some simple things to work out here. Maybe it's as easy as that. Let's renegotiate or readjust the business part of how the Jets are selling tickets and the offers and the deals, and maybe that gets them to the number they want. 13,000 total season tickets, 15,500 on a nightly basis. But that comment that the commissioner made, confidence in this community. To do what? And again, if it really is a money issue, why would you have any less confidence in the community to come out and support the team again? It's not maybe that they don't want to. It's that financially right now, maybe they're just not in the best of times, in the best spot to do so like they once did in the early 2010s. I find that a weird thing to say. Confidence in the team, right? That they'll make all the right decisions, that they will make the right opportunities for the fans. But confidence in this community, it sounds a little passive aggressive. Like I have confidence in you that you'll come back and keep supporting us and keep giving us business no matter what we do. Maybe I'm taking it the total wrong way. I just feel like it's a little laced with pressure to do the right thing, figure this out. And then lastly, I do want to suggest this. I know Winnipeg is a hockey community. The NHL belongs in Winnipeg. There's no question about that for me. I know it might be a smaller market, but so what? Have smaller aspirations. Make it work there. I have every confidence that ultimately it can. But is it possible that in the decade plus the Jets have returned? Obviously, they relocated from Atlanta. They were the Thrashers. Is it possible that the shine has worn off on the Jets and their return to Winnipeg? And that's not a knock against the Peg. Things are exciting, things are new again, and there is that honeymoon period for any team in their first couple years of existence, or in this case, the return to a market which they left back in the 90s. So I would totally understand that there is that big boom, that big boost, and then it's going to shallow out, and you have to find a way to reinvent yourself as a business, like the Jets, how they offer tickets, how they sell themselves. I totally understand that. There's nothing to be ashamed about if we're simply in that lull of the shine wearing off. But the question is, what do you do about it now? So again, the Jets headline has changed from panic, concern, that red alert button. Now the commissioner says, I believe this is a strong market. That's in print. That's in black and white. You can hold the commissioner to that. And you know what? He's been super loyal to a team like the Arizona Coyotes, letting them have 1 and 2 and 3 opportunities to get things right. And they still right now don't have their future entirely squared away in the desert. So for these initial warnings to come out with the Jets, I understand why everybody's super sensitive up there. But at this point, you probably can take the commissioner for his word that at this point, the NHL is a strong market and they will support the future of the Jets. That would be a bad look. I mean, it's happened in pro sports before, but it's a bad look to enter and depart a market twice as a pro sports league. You made it here to the end of the video. You know I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That'll greatly help me and this channel. And by the way, if you're just seeing it for the first time like me and this channel, that's great. I'm glad you found me. Make sure before you go, like right now, go down and hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here next time.